Hello everyone. Today I am going to talk about the meaning of cost accounting along with its objections and elements of cost which we include in the cost accounting. Talking about the cost accounting meaning, it involves analyzing, standardizing, forecasting and comparing relevant costing data so as to interpret, report various concerns to the management. Its scope includes preparation of budgets, determination of standard cost based on the technical estimates, identifying variances and reasons thereof. Now, let's move to objections to cost accounting. Despite numerous advantages, some objections are generally raised against cost accounting. Cost accounting is voluntary and no specific stereotype formats or systems of cost accounting are applicable to all industries. Thus, there is no uniform procedure. This leads to the difference in understanding and application of concepts, methods and techniques of cost accounting by different industries. Now, let us move to some of the major objections to the cost account. Talking about the first objection, it is expensive as installation and maintenance cost of accounting system requires resources, analysis, allocation, absorption and apportionment of overheads, require considerable amount of clerical work as well. Unless benefits accruing from the cost accounting are more than the cost involved, it should not be sought. Secondly, sometimes we have different results from financial records where the results shown by the cost accounts generally differ from those shown by the financial accounts. Now, why it happens? It happens due to number of reasons, like preparation of reconciliation statements frequently is necessary to verify this accuracy. This leads to increase in the workload. Next objection is that cost accounting is inapplicable due to lack of common formats and systems, which makes it impossible to apply cost accounting to all industries uniformly. Consequently, the system need to be adapted by the respective industries on the basis of their nature or the nature of the product manufactured or service rendered. It is unnecessary in the sense that maintenance of cost records leads to duplication of work, that is, preparation of financial accounts as well as cost accounts. Moreover, costing system itself does not control cost or improve efficiency. If the management is alert and efficient, it can control costs without the aid of the costing system. Fourthly, the system is complex as cost accounting requires identification, categorization and allocation of the different types of expenses, which is generally considered as complicated. One more point of objection to the cost accounting is lack of accuracy due to the use of notional cost, such as standard cost, where estimated cost hampers the accuracy of the cost results. Then use of secondary data is there in cost accounting as it depends largely on the financial statements. The limitations and errors in the financial information directly affects the cost results. Alright, now I will be talking about three important points of cost. The first is cost unit. So, according to Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, London, cost accounting is a unit of cost as a unit of quantity of product, service or time in relation to which cost may be ascertained or expressed. The preparation of cost accounts requires selection of a unit for identification of expenditure. The quantity upon which cost can be conveniently allocated is known as cost unit. For example, in case of electricity companies, cost unit will be per unit of electricity, generated, and in case of transport companies, it will be per passenger kilometer or per ton kilometer. The second important point is cost center. Again, according to the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, London, cost center means a location, person or item of equipment or group of these for which cost may be ascertained or used for the purpose of cost control. It can be a department or a sub-department or an item of equipment or machinery or a group of persons. The third point here is profit center, where profit center refers to a business unit or department within an organization that generates revenue and profits or losses. Here, both the inputs and outputs measured in monetary terms and accounting for both cost and revenues results in automatic computation of profit with respect to the center, which is termed as profit center. Now, I would like to give a brief explanation of the elements of cost. The first element is material, which is the basic substance used for producing the product and is referred to as material. Material can be direct or indirect in nature. Namely, first is direct material, which refers to the materials which directly contribute to the production of the product and are easily identifiable in the finished goods. Cloth in shirt, paper in books, wood in furniture are examples of direct material. Second is indirect material, which talks about other materials which is ancillary to in the production of any finished product and cannot conveniently assign to specific physical units. For example, printing in stationery, scissors used in cutting cloth for shirts, nails in shoes or furniture. Now, the next element is labor, which refers to the human efforts needed for the conversion of material into finished goods. Labor can be direct or indirect. Talking about the direct labor, it is that labor which takes an active and direct part in the production of a particular commodity and can be directly correlated to any specific activity of production, like process labor, productive labor, operating labor, manufacturing labor, direct wages, etc., which are used as direct labor. Talking about indirect labor, when employees who do not directly take part in the manufacturing process and whose cost cannot be identified with the individual cost center are called as indirect labor. Such labor does not alter the construction, composition or condition of the product. Now, the third element is expense, which refers to the cost incurred in the production process but not included under material or labor. They can be direct or indirect. Under expense, the first one is direct expenses, which are expenses which can be directly, conveniently and wholly allocated to the specific cost centers or cost units. Direct expenses are sometimes also described as chargeable expenses. The second type of expense is indirect expenses, which include all expenses other than the direct expenses. Next element is overheads. People generally use the terms overheads and indirect expenses synonymously, but it needs to be understood that overheads has a wider meaning than the term indirect expenses. Overheads include the cost of indirect material, indirect labor besides indirect expenses. Indirect expenses may be classified in three categories. The first category is factory overheads, where expenses incurred in the factory for its smooth functioning are included for the production management. For example, rent, rates, insurance, power, etc. The second overhead is office and administrative overheads, which include expenses pertaining to the management and administration of the business. For example, rent of office, lighting, heating, printing, stationery, etc. The third is selling and distribution overheads, which have the expenses incurred for marketing of a commodity, for securing orders for the articles, dispatching goods sold, and for making efforts to find and retain customers. That is all for today's class. Thank you.